Class, what's your A value?
1.
Class, what is your B value? And class, what is your C value? 16. So this is in standard or descending order. You have it set equal to 0. So the first thing you're doing is you're identifying the A, B, and C. The second thing you need to do is what? Write down the quadratic formula. Boys, what is the quadratic formula? Over 2a. So that's how you're going to get your 2 points out of 4 on our free response, is writing down the quadratic formula. Now, I have walked around today and I have seen probably about 10 students who've made a mistake is because they don't write it down. So write it down. Girls, what's the next thing we need to do? We're going to do a substitution. So for every A value, I'm going to put here and here. For every B value, I'm going to put it here. Notice how I did not highlight the negative sign there. And for every C value, I'm going to put there. Girls, tell me what to write here. Plus or minus. Square root. Uh-huh. 1. Divided by 2 times 1. Alright, here's the second most common mistake, is actually inside the radical. Although most students will say b squared minus 4ac, I want you to think of that as negative 4 times a times c. Okay? And class, what's the last thing we need to do? We need to simplify. Class, let's simplify this. So this becomes negative 8 plus or minus 64. Now negative 4 times 1 times 16 is negative 64 all over 2. So that will just become what? 0.
Guys, when you do this division, the whole division line of the whole thing, you can't just put it under the radical sign. It's the whole thing, by the way.
Now this will become the square root of 0. And you're thinking of 2 identical numbers that multiply to be 0. What are those numbers, class? 0 and 0. Remember, that's the pair that comes out. Okay, so all of this is just going to equal 0. Divided by 2. Now you'll notice that I have left the plus or minus to the very end. So here's your plus or minus. I'm going to go ahead and separate the problem now. One of these will be plus and one of these will be minus. So this is x equals negative 8 plus 0 divided by 2. And this will be x equals negative 8 minus 0 over 2. Girls, what's negative 8 plus 0? And girls, what's negative 8 divided by 2? Negative 4. Boys, what's negative 8 minus 0? And negative 8 divided by 2? Now this looks a little bit awkward we actually have the same number here. So let me explain that to you. If you graphed it, and this was negative 4, this point right here, that means that your parabola only touches the x-axis once. They actually call this a double root. Now this should make sense from your projects, because if you actually factor this problem, I'll show you how simple that is. X plus 4 equals 0, x plus 4 equals 0, x equals negative 4. Right? So the quadratic formula is a lot longer, but it'll always get you a solution.